Okay, so we're getting ready to close up the case. I-74 to this side of the case. You'll notice that I have not done the main webs. I do find it a little bit hard to record videos while doing this sort of work with the crankshaft and rods. It is a bit sort of time sensitive, and you know, you want to make sure that you do the best job that you can, and so having to hold a camera and juggle and angle this and whatnot, it's just not me. So I've gone ahead and done this off camera. So yeah, I've used, as I probably showed you before, or maybe I haven't, but all the con rods have been resized. They've been rebushed, so the little ends have been rebushed, all the rods have been balanced, and I have used ARP rod bolts, which are my go-to, and I'm using Redline assembly lube. So Redline, because it's pretty, it's a nice colour, and I use an ARP stretch gauge to stretch the rod bolts. The spec for these rod bolts, because these are a 10mm rod bolt, is actually 50 pound-feet, or foot-pounds I should say. So ARP say if you don't have a stretch gauge, just go straight to 50 foot-pounds and 50 foot-pounds will be fine. I actually found that if I went to 50 foot-pounds, it was probably a half to 1 thou short of the recommended stretch, and I'm pretty sure it would have been fine, but I think I ended up, I recorded my numbers, and I'll try and quickly show you, see if this will, if I pull this out of the holder. I just quickly wrote them down there, so you can see that 55, 53, 53, 52, 53, and I forgot to write the last one down, which I think was 52. Yeah, so I just record how much torque it took to get my rod bolts to stretch. And what I also do is I pair each rod bolt, because I don't know if you've used these before, but when you pull them out of a pack, most of the rod bolts are usually very, very close to being the same length as each other, but you will get some that'll say 3 or 4 thou different. So you've got to record which one's which, so that you can make sure that when you stretch them, the one that was longer ends up being that 3 or 4 thou longer than the other, if you know what I mean. So anyway, that's the crankshaft. Rods obviously flop around nice and freely, all at the same amount of friction, none of them are stuck. And the next step from here is to install the nose bearing, give the main journals another clean, and then to put to mount this in the case. Now the next step is a bit of a it is a bit of a job. So here's the case. As you can see, all the main bearings have been installed. IMS bearings are in, oil pump, pump shaft, IMS shaft. That's a new drive gear for the IMS, because I don't know if you're, well, I'll quickly show you, just one sec. That's the old one. Remember, it had all, this is the one that had the floppy timing chains, and so everything was flopping around crazy. Brand new timing chains. These are linkless chains, of course, and the other case half is just sitting here ready to go. And so the next step is to, I'm gonna get the crankshaft ready, get all my through bolts lined up ready to go, and hopefully I'll try and video some of that for you. Hopefully we might have to zoom in on this, but what I'm doing is I'm putting a fair bit of Molykote 111 compound down the through bolt itself, and then over this brass tool, which is what the O-rings slide on. So put a little bit more grease on the O-ring. You can't use too much. You want to make sure that the O-ring never ever catches on anything. And then you slide it down, and I'm always making sure that there's grease all over that bolt. I don't want the O-ring to be sliced or cut. And we just bring it down here, and then gently just ease it underneath the washer, and then that's it. So do another one. Put the sleeve on. Put a lot of grease down the shaft of the bolt. Now you'll notice that the O-rings that I'm using are green, not blue like some people use. I don't use the blue ones, I only use the green ones. These are a Viton material, and I actually buy the complete Rightwood Racing gasket kit. I don't know what their supplier is of these green O-rings. I don't think they make them themselves. Might be L-ring maybe, I'm not too sure. But again, good generous dab of the moly coat. Just make sure the washer goes down the bottom. And I'm actually trying to make sure that I don't get grease underneath the face of the washer, and that'll sort of make itself evident when we put the case together. I might as well explain it now. When the bolt goes through the case, as we tighten down the Aircooled nut on the other side, I want the washer to close in on the case, and then as it tightens in, I want the washer to grip on the case. I don't want the washer to turn. Obviously this side's not going to turn because it's got the bolt head, but on the other side I don't want that washer to turn at all, because again we don't want to tear the O-ring. So that's how we do the through bolts. Hopefully that came through on the video, but I'm not going to video the rest of it because it's pretty boring. Okay, so we're getting ready to close up the case. Bearings are installed, main bearings are lubricated, all the O-rings have been installed. There's obviously one on the bottom of the pump. Dowel has been installed for the number 8 nose bearing. I've applied the 574 to this side of the case. You'll notice that I have not done the main webs because you're not supposed to. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Here is the crankshaft ready to go. So now I'm going to juggle getting this into the case, and hopefully you won't laugh at me while I do this. Oh, there it is. Right. Let's get rid of this cable tie. Oops. Okay, so the crankshaft is in. Nose bearing is seated. Little doodads in. Hold these up. Okay, so I'm just going to put these on the nose bearing location. These are actual self-locking nuts. I don't know if you can see that, but they're sort of like got an oval in them. Why do I feel nervous? Because I'm on camera. A little bit. All right. Time to install some through bolts. Okay, so now it's time to put some moly coat on this side. And we're going to put the O-rings over the through bolts with a guide. Just push it on. That's it. So lots of lube on the O-ring. On the O-ring, push it down off the edge. That's it. So these are the washers that go over the through bolts, so these are nice and dry. So again, I'm hoping that when the nut tightens down, the washer will grip against the aluminium of the case and it won't turn. As long as you use plenty of quality lubricant on the threads of the nut and underneath the base of the nut, it should work. Now it's time to put the nuts on. So the nuts have been lubricated quite well. So I'll just loosely, whoop, working at a funny angle because of the stupid camera. So I'm just nipping these up a little bit, just to as they close down the washer, it's just turning, then the nuts turn the washer. Okay. Just need to flip it on its side to install this other nut and washer. So this one just goes in behind the timing chain. Don't want to go dropping that in there at this time. Okay, just give make that a little bit snug. Right. So now it's time to torque everything up. So I'm going to do this in a couple of stages. Go to 20 for the first stage. No, this one. Okay, and then I'm going to go to final torque. Okay, that's the main bolts done. Time to do these little ones. Okay, so the camera shut itself off. It had a little bit of a hissy fit because it got too hot. Thanks GoPro. But yeah, the case is together. It's all torqued. All the perimeter bolts are done to 25 Newton meters. As you can see, the crankshaft turns. I haven't got the studs in yet, so I don't want to try and rotate it too far because it'll lock up like it just did there. But yeah, crankshaft moves easily. And as you can see, or I think you can see, there's probably a little bit too much, but there's a healthy amount of squeeze out around the case. And I'll try and rotate it. You can see through the bottom. Plenty of squeeze out. Oop. I'll have to give that a wipe. So yeah, all in all, time to leave that for a couple of days and, well, not really leave it a couple of days, but I know the sealant needs a couple of days to really set, but I'll come back tomorrow and re-torque the through bolts just to double check everything. And yeah, we'll start installing some head studs and do the rest of the engine. Thanks for watching.